Hi. Hi. I'll try to keep this quick, but I just wanted to add a little bit to the um, uses of Git with RPG Maker. I've been seeing some videos out there of using Git with RPG Maker, and I think there is a slightly better way of doing it than a lot of the videos are showing. Um, Coming from working in software development professionally, I think maybe there's some things that need to be clarified about what Git is doing and sort of the theory behind Git. The short version is don't commit everything. RPG Maker gives us a lot of assets for free that we don't need to put in our repository because we already have them. We don't need to back them up. They're already in the engine. So I just want to go through my method of how I use Git. This is actually my first big project, so I might come back and change this in the future, but we'll worry about that another time. But yeah, I'll just go through what I think is a slightly better way of doing or using Git with RPG Maker. Um, the other way is good because it's good to get your stuff protected and source controlled. But when working on a larger project, this is probably the way you'd want to go. So let's get into it. So let's say we're going to make a new project. I'll just call this new Git project. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to put it in my usual folder. And let's say you make your new project, and you've been working on it, and you like made some new characters, uh, uh, and we want to export this person's face here. New character face. And now we have this image saved. We want a new walking character as well. New character. Um, and stuff like that, you know? And let's say we edit this map too. Let's just draw something like that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we made the changes to our game. Um, and, and Reed is going to have this new character's face and the new character's thing. We're not going to do battler. We'll apply that. So we've made changes to our database. We've made changes to this map. And we decide we're doing good work and we want to keep the work that we made. What a lot of the other sort of guides would tell you to do, and you can do this with command line, but I'm just going to do the GUI because even in my professional work, I started with command line, but then I realized the GUI actually did the basic stuff, and I only needed the command line when I needed to fix something that I messed up. So yeah, let's get GitHub desktop. Ooh, that's my stuff. Hope we didn't see anything weird. Anyways, um, so yeah, we're gonna make a new repository, and we're gonna put it in this uh, what do we call it? New Git project. And doing this in the GUI is a little weird. You gotta, or at least I don't know. This is the way I've seen it. Actually, anyways, let's just do it this way. Because creating a new repository, I think it's a little bit easier to do that on command line with Git init, which if you look up command line stuff, that's like the first thing you learn. But yeah, we're gonna put it in this folder with my projects into this new project folder and create repository. So the Git GUI does your initial commit automatically, which is fine, but we're gonna do something a little bit better. Did I do it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So if you look at it, it says it just made our first commit to our local repository. And if we look at our history, we have all of these files added to our repository. But you might notice something that this word here, changes, is very important to how you use Git. So we're adding all of these files, but we didn't change any of these files. We already have access to these files when we create a new project. So we don't need any of this in our repository. So the better way to go about this is to actually undo that initial commit and unclick all of this stuff. And actually, we only want to keep the changes that we made in our repository. And this first step is kind of a pain in the butt, but once it's done, you won't have to worry about it again. So basically, all the stuff that comes in the standard RTP, I think is the the term. We don't need to put that in our repository. We can just copy that from a new blank project if we need. So we are going to ignore all of the stuff that we didn't change. So basically all the audio, you can see right here, we go down to audio. Yep. All that audio, we don't need that. We're going to ignore the individual files. You could do the folder, but I think it's best to do the individual files because in the future, maybe we might want to unignore it, and then that would add it back into our project. And for images, we did make some new images. So this will be a little, oh yeah, let's get rid of the, actually, the CSS. Again, we didn't change it. We don't need to worry about it. So we'll ignore that. So this data folder, this is the one that I think is okay because they're small files, they're JSON, and that's our database, which is like the core of our RPG Maker game. So I think it's okay to keep that data folder in there. The effects we don't need. So let's get effects all ignored. And then let's see, fonts we don't need. So we'll ignore those. This is our project file, very important. We'll keep that. The icon, yeah, we can ignore that. And battlebacks, we didn't do any changes to battlebacks, so let's just ignore all those. All right, now we're getting into something that we actually did. So we, under image characters, made that new character. So let's find that. What do we call it? New character. So we're going to ignore the stuff that isn't new character. So we're going to keep that in our repository and ignore the other stuff that we did not change in characters. So the rest of the characters we can ignore. Enemies, we didn't do any changes to enemies, so we're just going to ignore all those. Ignore. And then pictures, we didn't do any. Oh, whoops. There's some other stuff I missed. Faces. So we did have this character face. So let's ignore all the other faces. All the parallaxes. We didn't do any parallaxes. Pictures. We didn't do any pictures. And we didn't do any SV actors. We didn't do any SV enemies. These system images and tile sets, we didn't make any changes to those. I don't think we'll need to keep the, yeah, because we can copy that back over if we need. And let's see, we don't need any of this other stuff. We didn't change. Let's see, ignore. And then we have our core things here. I thought about this. I thought maybe we could keep these, but as I've recently learned about plugin development, we won't really be directly editing these. Maybe there's some reason to do it, but I don't think so because you'll be making aliases of this stuff and keeping it protected anyway. So we don't need to. And basically, we did not make any changes. So we're going to ignore the core files as well. And the package JSON, pretty sure that will, yeah, we don't need that either. So now, here we have our very light repository. And now this is something that is nice to commit into our repository. And it's tiny. I could publish it, but I don't want to. That would push it up to the remote repository. But let's say you are, actually, maybe I should, I'll just show you a quick rundown of what you would do if you did mess everything up. So let's see, what would be a good way to do this? Okay, yeah, so we're not going to publish it. I will just do it. Actually, no, I'm not going to worry about that. But actually, I'll show you just a repository that I already have pushed up. So I have been working on this game, Return of the Moon Queen. I don't know if that's going to be the final title. And if you look in the history, yeah, again, I just have the items that I changed. And actually, this I did have to do, moving it from my notebook onto my desktop. And what the process is let's see, I think I can maybe simulate it here for you. So let's say we go into this. I'll just make a little test folder here. Excuse me, sorry. And let's say we want to clone the repository. So we could do it here, but let's do it through the GUI. Cloning I also usually do through the command line too, because it's just kind of nice that way. So we're going to put it in our test folder. Where is that? RMZ inside our test folder. And we want to get, what did I call it? Moon Queen, Return of the Moon Queen. So we're going to clone that into this test folder. So when we look at our test folder, we're going to have the thing, and then I haven't nested. This might be a little different, but here's our project folder, and you'll see it's just these two folders and then the base RPGMaker project. So what you'll want to do here is make a blank project. I have one here already that I created. You can make another one, but well, you'll have one handy if you're going to be doing this method. And you'll just copy all of these. Copy. And then we go back to our test folder, into our games project folder, and we are just going to paste all that stuff in. And then when you paste it, it's going to be like, hey, there's some things that are the same. And we're going to skip that. We're going to skip those files because we want to keep the changes that we made. So now, if I open this, here's my project with like my stupid characters that I randomized. So let's see, there should be I saved all my character JSON in here because it's JSON. So yeah, here's a little character I made. It's saved. And I have a little battle in here, and we can walk around and you can see a little test battle in troop that I made with some events running in it. And yeah, there it is. My project is cloned. And I have very little data up on the server. If you're working on a team, hopefully your other developers should have a copy of RPG Maker, so they should be able to just clone those files as they need. And also, another kind of thing that you'll want to do is, like, let's say we do change this. Although I do my mapping in tiled. That's another thing, but we won't worry about that right now. But let's say we save this, save project. And now when we go into Git, oh, it brought them all back. I didn't realize it did that. Whoops. That's fine. Oh, right, because I copied the files over. So you might have to do it again the first time if you mess things up. But once you've done it, because yeah, we just added these files in. So you will have to ignore those files again, I'm afraid. Or actually, um, if you're working with other people, perhaps you can just borrow their git ignore file. So let's go to my my actual one outside of here, my actual project. Let's copy this git ignore, copy, and then just drop it into our test project, which is, oh, I think I have a different, oh, let's see. Oh, I hope this works. It should work because I think I have the same file layout. Because I have this inside a folder within the repository, it could be a little weird, but it should be fine. But when I come back, yeah, here we go. It ignored all the other files, and here are just the things I changed. I think I made a change to map 01. So yeah, we should see what was changed right here. And yeah, if I wanted to, and again, I am of the theory you should only commit what you change. So we changed map 01. We added the git ignore. And we didn't change anything else. So technically we should only commit these two files. But, you know, that's, again, kind of just the way you should work. Because, like, if you were to just commit all these and another person that you were working with was working on enemies, but actually you weren't working on enemies, there's no reason to, there could be conflicts, but you should also be doing pull requests and all that. But that, you know, once you get more familiar with Git, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think this is the better way to be handling it and not sending unnecessary data into your repository, especially all those images and audio files, which can get pretty big in size. So I think that is it. I probably should have scripted that out, but I think that got the point across. All right. Hope that was useful. See you later.